Hello and welcome to the Profitable Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Rich, and as the founder of the Bold Life Movement and a fellow coach for more than 7 years, I know the challenges that many of you face when launching or growing your coaching business. And I'm here to pull back the curtain on the coaching industry and help you overcome roadblocks to make the impact you were born to make. Each week, I'll be interviewing successful coaches from every corner of the industry to share exactly how they have managed to generate massive impact and income. From strategy to psychology, we cover it all. This show is presented to you by Transformation Academy, a global marketplace of courses and coaching certifications. So whether you are already part of our epic community or you're brand new to this show, if you're ready to learn what it takes to turn your passion for service into a profitable business, then keep listening. You are in the right place.
Welcome back to the Profitable Coach Podcast. This is episode number 57. And today we're talking about how to know when to pivot, how to know when to give up. This is a question that I get a lot from my brand new coaches. And it's understandable because when you are first starting in a new industry, in a new role, in really a new identity as an entrepreneur, as a coach, it can be really easy to see the obstacles as more than just that. And so often I get asked, how do I know when to give up on this niche? How do I know when to give up on coaching? And so I wanted to just expand the conversation outside of my coaching sessions and share it with you and the Profitable Coach audience, because this is a really powerful question. Here's why. I am of the firm belief that you can't fail if you don't give up. And that doesn't mean that there isn't a right time to pivot. That doesn't mean that there isn't a right time to revisit the drawing board or to try something new. But I really am firmly set in my belief system that if you feel called to something, it is meant for you. And there may be a really beautiful hero's journey along the way to that goal, to that dream. But if it's something that you feel excited about and it challenges you, then I really think that it is something your soul came here to pursue. So when it comes to choosing the right time to shift gears a little bit in your coaching business, there are a couple of different things that I look at, okay? One is I always encourage people, especially my students inside of Quantum Leap, this is our business bootcamp, I always encourage them to go back to the basics, right? Go back to the fundamentals. There is a reason that coaches of every experience level continue to come join me inside of Quantum Leap. This is our business bootcamp we run once a year because the reality is no matter how far along you are in the journey, it's always good to make sure your structure, your framework, your messaging is dialed. Make sure you're clear about who you're talking to. And sometimes that means redefining who you're talking to because you have evolved so much. Your experience has evolved so much, and your current client base and your current community has also evolved and grown beyond maybe what it was when you first got started. So step number one is go back and make sure that all of the market research that you did when you first started out, and P.S. if you haven't done market research, this is your friendly invitation, your friendly PSA, go do market research. This is an incredibly important step in defining your coaching business, your offerings, your clientele, etc. You need to know who it is that you are calling in. You need to know what is the result that you provide. What is it that keeps them up at night? How is your unique approach going to get them to where they want to go? How are you going to communicate to them that your unique approach is the thing they've been waiting for? Well, it's by doing the market research and getting out there into your community, having real conversations with real people so that you can better get inside their minds. One of the things that I often talk about is this difference between trying to sell the features and trying to sell traits versus just selling results. Now, here's what I mean by that. I've had a client in the past who really felt passionate about helping people to be more resilient, right? This is a very altruistic goal, very reputable trait for someone to have, to be resilient, to be able to handle life's tough moments with class, with strength. However, I would have a hard time finding many people who will get their credit card out for resiliency. And here's why. The idea of being resilient is kind of like a nice to have, but it's not necessarily something that people seek out. And the reason is, to become resilient, you have to go through tough stuff. You have to endure things that require resiliency. And most people, frankly, are just not seeking out hard times, right? Instead, they're seeking out relief from a hard time that they've experienced. So the example that I use inside of my coaching containers is, are you offering people relief from heartache? Are you offering people relief from job loss, death in the family, whatever it is? First, get really clear on what the hard time is that you are hoping to give them resiliency from, because you're going to have a much easier time appealing to your audience if you can speak directly to the pain that they're currently experiencing, right? So let's just go with job loss, okay, for the sake of this example. So instead of saying, I'm going to help you be resilient after you've lost your job, instead, what is it that they want? What is it they actually want? They don't want to be resilient. They want another job. They want another paycheck. So are you going to help them figure out a side hustle? Are you going to help them retweak their resume for the first time in 40 years? Are you going to help them get out in the job force and actually stand out against all the newbies, all the AI options that are available now? Like, what is the actual result that they are desiring that you can coach them to accomplish? That's what they want. That's what you want to be speaking to. And you discover that through your market research, okay? So let's say that you have dialed in, okay, I help people to position themselves in the market really strongly after a job loss and to really stand out as a unique, valuable option for companies that are looking to either hire fresh out of college or hire AI. Like, why should they hire this person who's been in the job force for 40 years, probably requires a higher salary than an AI option or someone who's fresh out of college? Well, that's where your expertise comes in, right? This is, if we think about a Venn diagram, the sweet spot that you want to be targeting with your coaching is the overlap, that middle section, right, of a Venn diagram between your unique experience and expertise and the needs of the market. So if you are someone who has coach people in career transition, you understand hiring, you understand HR, you understand the trends in the market, then you're a really great coach for someone who's looking to get back into the workforce after 40 years and loss of job, right? So when to pivot? How do you know when to pivot? Well, maybe, this is a great example. We're going to lean into this job example. Maybe up until now, you've been helping to coach people to stand out amongst the recent graduates. However, now with the emergence of AI, your messaging shifts, you're pivoting, you're helping people to stand out against AI, or you're helping people to leverage AI to learn new skills using AI so that they can stand out against other hires who are not yet as familiar with how AI can really expand someone's skill set and make them a really standout choice as a hire, right? So historically, you helped people get hired and stand out against other recent college grads. Now you're helping people stand out either against AI. There's a couple options, right? I'm just spitballing here. You're either helping them to stand out against AI, or you're helping them to harness AI, to leverage it to stand out against everyone else who has not yet jumped on that trend. This is one of many examples of how you can choose to pivot in your niche, same audience, same overarching outcome, help someone to be resilient after job loss, but it's more specific, and it's helping you to differentiate yourself against other career coaches because you have something unique that you're offering. You have a pulse on what is present in the economy. You have a pulse on what people are actually afraid of right now versus what they were afraid of 10 years ago. So that's one really great example of when and how to pivot. Another example, maybe You are so passionate about the people that you serve. You are so passionate about the offering that you have created, but no one is biting. You just haven't made any sales. No one's latching on to one-on-one coaching. No one's signing up for the group offerings. So what that could mean is that it's actually not the offering, and it's not even the niche. It's not even the result. It could just be where you're talking about it. So sometimes pivoting isn't about quitting your overarching mission and goal. It's about redirecting where you offer it. And this goes back to the market research. Are you showing up in the containers that your ideal clients are spending time in? Where are my clients? How do I get in front of them? How do I add value? How do I invite them into a paid container? These are like the simple steps to marketing, right? So maybe it's a matter of shifting the channels in which you market. It could be that you're in the right channels, but the way that you're speaking about the offering is more, here are the bells and whistles, here are the features and benefits, versus here's the identity shift that you get by joining this container. Here's why you need this. This is literally the thing you've been waiting for. Let me invite you into that party. Let me invite you into that container. So again, this is going to go back to the market research. Really look at the words that your clients are using when they describe what it is that they're struggling with and what it is that they think they want. Because if you're not using that verbiage in your messaging, you probably don't have a true connection to your clientele. And so this is an opportunity for you to become more intimate with the people that you want to be serving. So maybe it's not about pivoting who you help, it's about pivoting how you help them and how you talk about how you help them, and really making an effort to get inside their minds and get inside their hearts. I use this example on a recent coaching call. I hear a lot of coaches say, I want to help people be connected to their authentic self. I want to help people be more authentic, be connected to their authentic self, right? You've probably heard this buzzword, authentic self. However, I want you to really ask yourself, have you ever heard a human in your community say, I want to feel more connected to my authentic self? That might be the goal, right? That might be really what it is that they say they want. But I don't know that it's the verbiage that they're using, right? Is that what they're Googling? Is that what they're putting in the search bar on YouTube? I know that when I was feeling disconnected from my quote unquote authentic self in my 9-to-5 job, that wasn't the words that I used to describe my experience when I would complain to my friends about it. The words I used was soul sucking. I felt like my soul was literally dying every day I showed up. I felt like I was doing the job of a monkey. I felt like I wasn't utilizing my strengths. I wasn't having any creativity. I was not in my zone of genius at all. And I was bored, right? So often something as simple, as straightforward, as like elementary level as the word bored is going to ignite something in the ears and eyes and hearts of your listeners and your community. But you'll only know that by going out and doing the market research. So everything is going to be pointing back to market research, market research. So with that, I want you to ask yourself, A, have I properly done my market research? Do I need to revisit who I help, how I help them, how I talk about the things that we do inside my containers, how I talk about the identity shift, how I talk about the results that people are craving? Am I using the exact words that they would use to describe what it is that they want? If not, then I probably just need to go back to square one and not pivot entirely, but just revisit the fundamentals. Okay? So when to actually pivot? I want to make sure that I do answer this question, because thus far I've given you a lot of examples of how to pivot in terms of messaging, in terms of offering, but not necessarily the niche itself. So when to pivot in terms of the niche is if you are finding that you're not excited about it. This particular group of people you don't really enjoy serving. Either they're not magnetizing to you or you're not magnetizing to them. And even if you are, something about it just feels sort of like meh. I want y'all to choose a niche that you could talk about forever. And perhaps that shifts. Perhaps every 2 years, that's a new niche. And that's okay. Perhaps every 2 years you have a new offering, so you're just appealing to a new subsect of that niche. And that's also okay. I tell my clients all the time, I want you guys to have so much fun in your business. I want you to be creating something that is your legacy, that you feel so proud of and jazzed up by and excited about, because this is the thing that is your art in the world. This is your expression. This is the thing you're leaving behind. So I want it to be something that you are really rejoicing every time you sit down to create, to share, to invite. And if that's not the case, maybe it's time to pivot. Okay? Maybe it is time to look at some other ways that you can add value to the world, some other groups of people that you are experienced at serving, maybe because you were once in their shoes, or you know people in your immediate circle that kind of fit that bill and you've helped them to a degree. So the last thing I want to leave you with is how to know when coaching isn't necessarily for you. So one thing I want to offer is that there are so many different styles and flavors to coaching. There's one-on-one, there's group, there's in-person, there's virtual, there's collaborative, there's solo where you're the only person, you're the only trainer, right? And often we think it needs to look one way because we've only seen people do it that way, where in reality, there are so many different approaches that you could take to being a quote unquote coach. And maybe calling yourself a coach isn't even resonant. There are so many ways in which you can add value to the world, and sometimes calling yourself a coach just no longer resonates, and something like mentor or trainer is more in alignment with who it is that you see yourself as and how it is that you actually serve people. So I want this to continuously be a permission slip for you all to create the business of service of your dreams. Whatever feels really juicy and exciting for you and the way in which your clients will respond the most, that's what I want you to lean into. That's that middle sweet spot in the Venn diagram that we talked about earlier. So if you have any questions about this, or if you're like, Kim, I still don't know how this specifically applies to me, then go ahead and DM me on Instagram. I love opening up the dialogue with the listeners and adding value wherever I can. We have a really beautiful community inside of Transformation Academy, so you can come and continue to get support from our team inside there. So if we're not already friends on Instagram, head over to @the Kimberly Rich, and you can also follow Transformation Academy at Transformation Academy Online. So I hope this was valuable for you today. I hope you feel like you have the permission to blend and morph and switch and shift your business as you do, because it's a fluid thing just like you are, right? It's beautiful to have structure. It's beautiful to return to the fundamentals and let those things give you clarity and stability to be able to shift and pivot as you see fit and as the market sees fit. So with that, I'm sending you guys so much love, and I can't wait to see you on next week's episode. Continue to tune in, continue to share with your friends. I hope you get value out of this free offering from me and the team. We are just sending you the best vibes. Mwah.